Welcome to the party, pals. I am Droid. Today I'm going to be doing a full setup, review, and demo of this WestCreek Mirage guitar. Now, I did an unboxing on this guitar several months back. That's available on my channel. If you're interested, I will link it in the description as well as at the end of the video. That video covers full tech specifications, did a full breakdown on the guitar, and shortly after posting that video, this guitar sold out on Amazon. I never got a chance to do a review of the guitar. After several months, this guitar is finally back in stock at Amazon. Today we're going to find out, was it worth restocking? Was it worth the wait to do a review? Grab yourself a tasty beverage and let's get started. Okay, so anytime I purchase a new guitar, you'll typically see me doing an unboxing, then a review and demo. So the reason that I do it that way, I feel in order to accurately judge every guitar I purchase, there needs to be some sort of control, and that control for me is the setup process. You really never know what you're going to get from a factory. Some people could get great setups, guitar plays flawlessly. Other people can get steaming piles of trash. So the only way I can make sure I'm accurately judging an instrument is that every guitar I get receives the exact same setup to my personal preferences. Now, my setup process is very simple. First thing I do, get rid of the factory strings. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not, I don't care. Control. After these strings are removed, I will typically clean and polish the frets using some steel wool. Now, if you saw my unboxing, this guitar showed up with very scratchy frets. These are billed as stainless steel ball end frets. For me, stainless steel frets have been hit or miss with these budget guitars. For example, that Firefly guitar right there, terrible fretwork, basically like playing on sandpaper. However, in the back there, a Senstar guitar, flawless stainless steel frets, super smooth, very nice. This one, unfortunately, was more like the Firefly, and to be honest, this guitar actually has quite a few similarities with Firefly guitars. I'll mention that again as we go throughout the video, but for now, yeah, these frets were pretty much unplayable, super scratchy, so that definitely had to be dealt with. Now, steel wool does not do a tremendous amount to stainless steel frets, in my experience. Good news, I was eventually able to smooth out the frets on that Firefly guitar. Just took a lot of work, a lot of time. So beware if you purchase one of these. Maybe you'll get a great one with very smooth fretwork. Maybe you will get an absolute disaster. This is my first experience with WestCreek. Not off to a great start, but what you gonna do, brother? On to the next. After that is handled, I will typically clean the fretboard using some good old naphtha. Then I always like to moisturize the fretboard using some linseed oil. I just rub it on, let it sit for a little bit, then wipe it off. Very simple, very inexpensive. I also add some graphite to the nut and bridge saddles. Proper lubrication is key for tuning stability. Next up, we just need to get some new strings installed on the guitar. Lastly, you'll see me do a little bit of stretching of the strings. Very important for tuning stability. Also important to tuning, intonation. I will spare you the footage of me intonating the guitar. Now that we got it fully set up and everything, let's go ahead and get into the sound demo. Important to note, these humbuckers are 4-conductor humbuckers, thus allowing you to coil split them if you would like. However, in its stock form from WestCreek, they do not have any push-pull pots, no switches or knobs. It does not do coil splitting. That is a modification that would have to be done by yourself or your local guitar tech. If you're interested, I have some videos on my channel of me doing mods like this. Feel free to check those out, including the very useful Spin-A-Split mod, one of my favorites. It is possible that in the future I will modify this guitar to do coil splitting. But for the purpose of this review and demonstration, we're going to stick to full humbuckers, no modifications, stock as you would receive it from the factory, just with a nice setup. And once again, if you're interested in tech specifications, such as pickup resistance, what the pickups look like and all that when taken out of the guitar, that's all in the unboxing video. Feel free to check that out. First up, bridge humbucker. quickly to interrupt the sound demo. I don't see it being a very long sound demo. Definitely not as long as I usually do. Reason being, possibly my #1 pet peeve when it comes to guitars is neck dive, and this guitar is absolutely terrible. The whole time I'm playing, I'm having to hold the neck up. Really not comfortable to play. Not conducive to inspiration or any sort of long-term guitar playing. Just a detriment to guitar playing. So first and foremost, that is disappointing. And I really do not enjoy playing guitar when the guitar I'm playing has neck dive. It really takes away from my playing and my creativity and my overall experience. So I guess let's get back to the sound demo. No guarantees that it's going to be very long. Next up, middle position. And lastly, neck humbucker. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, overall, what do I think of this guitar? Now, first and foremost, I do want to go over 2 issues with the guitar. I already talked about one briefly. Numero uno being the nut was not cut properly. The strings were way too low, super buzzy. I ended up having to do a quick fix on this guitar to allow me to set it up properly and have these strings at proper height at the nut. Long term, I would probably have to replace the nut, but for right now, the fix that I did was sufficient. Again, that may be something specific to this guitar and not an issue you will run into. Something like that is very dependent on the person who set up the guitar initially, or maybe they did it at the guitar shop that I purchased it from. Not really sure. I did hear a lot of feedback on the Firefly guitars that they are hit or miss. Some people get great ones, some people get not so great ones. To be honest, I'm pretty much convinced that Firefly and WestCreek operate in similar factories. Maybe I'm wrong there, but there are a lot of similarities. If I played this without looking at it, I probably would have guessed it was a Firefly. So if you have experience with Firefly, you pretty much know what you're going to get here. Now, other than the nut, the other issue that I have with this guitar is something that seems to be an issue with the guitar that this shape is based on, and that's neck dive. The neck dive on this guitar is pretty bad. As you can see, really not ideal. It puts quite a bit of strain on the shoulder. And how you're supposed to play with this thing flopping around. Now, I do run into neck dive quite frequently, and I've gotten pretty good at fixing it. However, this guitar, I could not come up with a solution. Really not sure what to do there. Normally, I would relocate some strap buttons, and that does not seem to be working for me. Now, I've seen players that use Firebird style guitars. Sometimes will put their strap up and over the body. Now, that does solve the issue. But then you got your strap running over the top of the guitar. I suppose it's not the worst thing. Considered adding some weights to the back end of this guitar so that the body would weigh down a little bit. I believe the reason the neck dive is so bad is because this neck is 24 frets. It's way out there. Not quite as far as a bass, but definitely further out there than any guitar I own or have played. So overall, I'm kind of in the middle on it, because on one hand, much like the Firefly guitar, it is extremely solid feeling. It's got a nice bulky neck. It's got some weight to it. All of the hardware and specifications are all very nice. And important to note at this point, this guitar is available on Amazon for $299. Now, I did not pay that much for it. I purchased it from a guitar store which seems to get a lot of WestCreek guitars and sells them discounted in like new condition. When I got it, it still had all the plastic peel off stuff, you know, that junk. All of that was still on the guitar, seemingly pretty much unplayed. I'm sure somebody tested it. But the point of me saying that is, at the price that I paid, $179, absolute incredible guitar for that money. Even in its stock form, it's a great platform to do modifications, to learn about modifications, learn about guitar setup, take it out, play it for a show. You don't have to worry about damaging it. And the quality is certainly going to impress you. However, at $299, that's where things get a little bit tough. I said it in the Firefly video, and I'll say it here as well. It's more expensive than a lot of the other companies that you see behind me. So I do have to factor that cost into this, and I probably wouldn't have paid $299. Me personally, I tend to be a budget seeker. I would wait for a sale of some sort. WestCreek seems to run sales a lot. Most of their guitars are closer to $200 than $300, and I think that's more where this guitar needs to be. It's kind of a ridiculous statement considering when I was coming up playing guitar, that type of deal, $300 for this, would have been incredible. However, we live in modern times where you can get $89 guitars and they're spectacular. There's so many options out there right now. You have to factor it all in. This was my first experience with WestCreek. If they made something else that I was interested in at a price I was willing to pay, I certainly would give them a second chance. Cannot stress the actual build quality of the guitar enough. Super solid, very nice hardware. The actual finish of this guitar is absolutely BEA beautiful. It's like a sparkly blue, really stunning finish. May come across in camera, but definitely check out that unboxing for some up close video. I do really like the body style that they've gone with here. Not exactly a ripoff of a Firebird. Very cool overall. Another important thing that would have explained the price of the guitar at $299, but unfortunately is not the case, is this guitar is not a neck through despite its appearance. They went for the Firebird neck through style with the ledge here. You take the pickup out, I showed this in the unboxing. It has a neck tenon, set neck, unfortunately not neck through. That definitely would have made it worth the $299. And that's one of the reasons actually why I purchased this guitar. I had a feeling it wouldn't be neck through, hence why I went with the cheaper $179 option. And unfortunately, I was correct. So that's just another thing to keep in mind if you're looking at this guitar. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of my opinions on this guitar. I've been ranting for a while now. I wish I could tell you that it's truly amazing and you should go buy it right now. But unfortunately, that's a decision you're going to have to make. If the retail price on Amazon was a bit lower, 100% I would recommend it. I would say go there, buy it right now. However, at $299, you're going to have to make that decision for yourself because it is up there. And at that point, you got to start comparing it to Firefly and all the other budget brands. So many options out there. It's really turning into a tough market where I have to start nitpicking inexpensive budget guitars that should be instant yeses, the price that they're at. But it's crazy times we're living in. So many options, so many good deals. For us guitar players, it's a great time to be playing. For brands, maybe not so much. But yeah, I guess that's where we're going to leave this one. To wrap it all up, it is a very solid guitar. Nice build quality and hardware quality. Just a couple issues. But I'm curious to hear from you if you happen to own one of these or if you buy one. Let me know what your experience was. Or if you own any WestCreek guitars for that matter. Because perhaps, like I said, maybe I just got a not so great one. One that was more worth it at $179 than $299. Very curious to hear that, so let me know. And with that, I think I've pretty much said everything and then some. So once again, I've been Droid. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out my channel for more guitar videos like this, as well as drum, synth, lyric videos. If you could be so kind, please check out my music on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, etc. under Droid, JROID, Linktree/Droid. Links are in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time to do so. And as always, stay safe.
JROIDNET.